How valued do you feel at work? How connected are you to the company mission? How does your sense of value and connection affect your motivation? You get to meet on this episode of the Work Positive Podcast a company that gets it right, that appreciates and expresses value to their team members, that connects them to the company mission. They've been doing it for over 70 years and as a family-owned business. In fact, they've done it so well, Counselor selected them as the 2022 Distributor Family Business of the Year and a 2024 Best Places to Work. This company's committed to a positive work culture, growth opportunities, and learning and development as pathways to innovation and collaboration. Today, we get to talk with the CEO and CRO of this amazing company. So turn it up, Work Positive Nation.
Welcome to the Work Positive Podcast with your host, executive coach, and culture architect, Dr. Joey Fawcett. Discover strategies and tactics that work positive as Dr. Joey talks with industry leaders who create a positive work culture that attracts top talent and reduces team turnover. Discover how you can create a work positive culture that increases productivity and profits. Here's your host, Dr. Joey.
Work Positive Nation, help me welcome Gerry Barker, CEO, and Amy Serrano, CRO of Barker Specialty. Thank you so much, Gerry and Amy, for being on the podcast.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you very much, Dr. Joe. We really appreciate Adrian bringing us together. And I have to share with you, I've listened to many of your podcasts, and I found them all very instructive and learned a lot and excited to be on this one with you today.
Thank you, Gerry. I'm always humbled when anybody besides my mom listens to my podcast. So thanks for listening. You and my mom, I'll have to get the two of you together, right? It's a pleasure. I have so many wonderful guests like the two of you who are so brilliant and so good at sharing what makes for a positive work culture. Now, Barker Specialty, first of all, is a family-owned business. How long has it been a family-owned business, Gerry?
75 years.
Wow. That's like forever, because family-owned businesses you measure those in like dog years. So that's really like 200 years, right?
No, it doesn't feel like that. It's gone by very quickly, very nicely, very excited to have this business. And a lot of it's because we feel like all our staff is family, and coming to work every day is a pleasure.
Oh, wow. That's amazing. So who started the company, Gerry?
So it started by mom and dad, Gloria and Herb Barker, who had a vision and an understanding would be the wave of the future. And why I share that, Dr. Joey, is back in the day, 75 years ago, most advertising was television. Actually, it wasn't even television. It was radio and newspapers and yellow pages. And the idea of putting your name or logo on a product and using that for branding did not exist. And it was a real paradigm shift in the marketing business. And over the years, this advertising has become so fragmented. Now nobody's reading the newspaper. There's television stations, right? People aren't listening to the radio.
They're listening to podcasts like this one, right?
Exactly. But putting a message in people's hands has just exploded. And we're really excited that we were part of the beginning of that trend.
Wow. Gerry, what was that founder's story? This idea happened over a plate of spaghetti in our favorite Italian restaurant or something, somewhere along the way, right?
It actually happened with my mother's father. My grandfather, Rudolph Pitt was his name, who owned a bus company in Manhattan. And he had actually bought these rulers that looked like a leveler blind that was printed on it. And we actually have this sample. And he actually said to my father, he said, Herb, this is going to be the wave of the future, printed advertising on useful products.
Wow, that's amazing. Wonder where he got that ruler.
It was a company actually called the Curvex Company. And it goes back to the early 1930s, 1940s. But at the time, there were very few companies producing any sort of, once again, tangible advertising that could be branded for a company or an organization. And my father would actually go to businesses sharing these ideas. And he would actually try to find the suppliers. And he would go to the library at night and call up balloon companies and say, could you print balloons? And everyone would say no. And finally, he would find one. And he would then establish a relationship. And that's how he built the business.
Wow. Yeah, because if nobody's selling promotional products at that time, who's printing them? Because there's no need
Exactly
for it,
right.
right? Wow.
Exactly.
Amy, when did you join the company?
I joined 8 years ago. I was in the industry for about 2 years and I knew Barker Specialty as a competitor and locally. And I left for a little bit and I found my way back here and haven't left. It's been great ever since. And one of the things that really drew me in was the day that I came and interviewed and Jerry walked me around the building and just talking with people in every department, people were saying, I've been here for 5 years, 10 years, 15 years.
Mm.
So the longevity really spoke to the values of the company and the family business and that they appreciate and take care of the people here.
Oh, wow. Yeah. Tenure is one of the huge indicators that by which we measure a positive work culture. So, Amy, in your opinion, what reduces team turnover at Barker Specialty?
I think the way that we just care about people, we genuinely care about them. We ask them in the interview process. We don't just get to the nitty gritty of the job function at hand. We do ask them, what do you do outside of work? Do you have children? Do you have pets? Where do you live? And that I think softens the first interaction between us and them. And I think they feel the value, the sense of the value here. And we still do that same interview process. We'll bring them around to everybody and have them meet everyone in the different departments so they can see that we're real people. We work together. Not everyone is just sanctioned off in an office and we don't no interactions. We truly thrive together. And I think that's really shown from that first interview. And that first interaction really in the email even with the warm welcome, responding right away is huge. The day that I reached out to Gerry directly to find a job, he responded that same day. And that
Wow.
just it says a lot. That doesn't always happen in companies or even in family businesses sometimes, but that really draws us in and that really I think helps draw in and retain the people that we have here.
So you reduce team turnover as you attract top talent because you're inquiring about them. Where did that cultural DNA, Jerry, come from?
That's a great question and something I think about quite often because it really came from my mother and father, and really more than anything, my mother. We care about what I like to call the three C's. Our customers, of course, our company, meaning our employees, and our community. But mom and dad really valued people very much. And to just give you an idea, anybody who comes to our company looking for a job, we make a point that they meet somebody from management, even just to say hello, because we recognize that's a daunting process. And I've been in companies where I've seen people approach the receptionist and they're often curtly just handed an employment application. And this person's going from company to company to company. And we try to be really polite and kind to everybody. And to give you another example, the paradigm in our business was always to employ salespeople by commission. And right from the get-go, we always paid a salary because we never wanted to see anybody starve on our watch. We never wanted to see anybody not have health insurance working for us.
Mm.
So it's just purely, you're just really caring about other people. And that's just how my mom and dad were. And that certainly was passed to myself and Adrian and my brother and sister. And it's something that we value when we meet somebody. And when I met Amy 8 years ago, the first thing I recognized in her is how caring she is about other people. We'll share more about that later.
Yeah, let's go ahead and talk about it now. Amy, how do you care for people? As you're the chief revenue officer, so I don't always associate CROs with caring for people. I
Yeah.
mean, yeah, sorry.
I think what Jerry's referring to is recognition and recognizing everybody here. We have a lot of industry opportunities to nominate people for different awards
Mm.
in recognition. So that's something that I handle with our marketing director, Chelsea Fishman. And when those opportunities arise, we jump on them. We want to recognize various people here. And it's not just salespeople, it's people in production, it's people in accounting, it's all the way to our administrative assistants. And it's been great. We've won awards year over year and recognition for people that weren't expecting it, which is great. We love to surprise them with that. And I think that's kind of what you're referring to.
And the pause program.
And the pause, yeah. So we've developed a internal initiative called Barker Pause, play on the last name there, Barker for dogs, and the dog used to be in the logo. way that we can recognize employees for going above and beyond for each other. So we have an internal platform that we can go in and submit a nomination, and that person will receive that feedback from their colleague. And every month we do a drawing, for a randomized drawing, and somebody gets a chance to win a gift card just for doing their job. But also it's a way of saying thank you and shouting them out and recognize them internally.
So they get a treat.
Absolutely, yeah.
My family raised championship yellow labs for a while, so we understand the importance
Yeah.
of
We're big dog people here, yeah.
Yeah, that's right. Absolutely. How could you not be? You work for, as you said, Barker. Gerry, I got to admit, man, when you said Barker Pause, I was thinking Pause. I was thinking, hey, maybe they get some extra time off or something like that. But,
no, it was a pause, like positive attitude work service. And once again, it's something that Amy created. It's all online, and people are able to submit recognition for their fellow colleagues. And it's just part of just showing value to everybody. We know everybody's name. We treat everybody by name. We have an open door policy here. I had a sort of a beautiful moment last year where a new employee came to me and said, Gerry, I've worked for 5 other companies in the last 12 years. I never once had a chance to speak with the owner, and I don't even think that he knew my name. And he said, it's your one day, and we're chatting over a cup of coffee. He goes, I just can't tell you what it means to me. And I wasn't doing it for him. I was doing it for myself because I want to know him. I wanted to know Ed Underwood, who's working at Barker Specialty Company. So,
wow, that's incredible. 5 companies in 12 years tells us a lot about turnover, doesn't it? Yeah, so at those companies. So how many employees do you have, Amy?
We have just about 100.
Wow. So you guys take the initiative to go out and form personal relationships with 100 different people. Wow.
Absolutely.
What does that do for productivity in the company, this pause program and the personal approach from leadership?
I think it drives ambition to continue to do what they're here to do. I think sometimes we can get stuck in our day to day, and it just seems like we're doing the same thing over and over.
Right.
But when somebody says, wow, you took 5 extra minutes to help me do what I had to do, and I know how busy you are, I appreciate that. I think that it gives that person a little extra oomph to continue that, and it makes them feel good about themselves, and they get to go home and feel that positivity that they made a difference in not just their workload, but somebody else's.
I like what you said there. They're able to go home because that positive attitude carries on home. And since you guys care so much for your teams, what are some ways that you demonstrate that care for your teams?
So some of them, I'll give you examples. We have an employee recognition day, employee appreciation day, and the surprise, but this year we're having a grilled cheese truck come with all sorts of cool items.
What day is this? I love grilled cheese, and I love putting different stuff on it. Can I get avocado and bacon on mine?
Yeah, that's actually one of the
Okay.
Then we have a summer picnic. And then we have a very sort of lavish holiday party that's with a band and with sit-down dinner, and everything's really nice. But we also invite the spouses or significant others so they could, and we hope the employees are proud to show off what we do. We ensure at Christmas time that we provide a gift to all children under 19 years old, and that's always been a book. And that book is picked out for each child based on their age and possible interests, if we're aware of them.
Wow.
Special note. And that's just how we are. We care, and we want to show that caring. We show that caring through things we do as a company, through having a 401k so people could plan for their retirement. And we actually set aside an afternoon where we bring in the 401k professionals and we bring in pizza so all our staff could have a chance to discuss their needs once again with these professionals. We have a company-wide bonus if we meet, and this is for everybody, regardless of whether it's sales or marketing, it's for everybody. Once again, even our PTO plan, we allow employees to gift some of their PTO to other employees if they So if an employee has maybe an illness that keeps them out of work for a longer period of time, they're once again able to share. We started a book club. This was interesting. And we want people to read, we want people to learn. And we set aside company time for people who wish to participate in the book club to do it. And this is just some of the stuff we do. But really, it's not done because we're looking for more productivity. We're looking for we're looking to affect the lives of the people we care about and make their work experience enjoyable, because you know what? Happy at work, happy at home. And we do believe that it just creates a positive environment. Amy, anything you want to add?
Yeah, we also recognize birthdays as well. We do a nice little shout out at the beginning of every month. Our administrative assistant, Kim Chandler, sends an email out recognizing everybody's birthdays. You might do a little breakfast treat, muffins or bagels in the morning. But then also we send a birthday card out to people with a gift card in there on their birthday. So I think everyone really appreciates that recognition that it's their personal day and that we're shouting them out for that birthday.
Amy, I'm thinking people are standing in line to come work for you guys, right? How deep is your applicant pool?
Yeah.
I have to say, it's deep, but you know what? It's hard to find really good employees today. There's certainly a lot of people, but the ones that will provide, we need people to provide value. Still work as much as we talk about all these fun things. And we even have a Barker, we call it ABC Day, a Barker Caring Day, where any employee who wants to volunteer in the community gets a paid day off.
Wow.
And we have a business to run, Dr. Joey, and very important, we serve our customers and make sure that they get their merchandise on time, printed correctly, and that it's all in good stead. It is work.
Yeah, definitely work, but you make work pleasant and positive, which carries over to, I like the results we see are lowering divorce rates, lower absenteeism, all those things which make for a more sustainable company. So Amy, as a CRO, what's your service region? I understand you guys are based in Connecticut, but where do you sell products?
Everywhere. We have companies nationwide, but they also have a global footprint, and we're able to produce and ship as well to their offices overseas. And we're actually part of a buying group that's has an overseas footprint. So we have connections to distributors overseas as well, and are able to help service our clients through that network. So there's really no limit there.
Yeah.
Dr. Joey, we've never used our clients for endorsement. So if you go to our website, you are not going to see a list of companies we do business with. But I will share with you that they include Fortune 100 companies, the most prestigious sporting events in the United States, the most prestigious hospitals, most prestigious universities, the most prestigious banks. And we're very proud of our client roster. But once again, we want that person who comes from the local school and wants to buy 30 t-shirts to feel as valued as the person from the US government that's buying 150,000 shirts. And we don't talk about what we do. Every order is critically important, and every customer is critically important.
Wow. Wow. That's a huge paradigm shift on client testimonials, which you would think would be a staple, or is a staple of most companies when it comes to particularly revenue generation, because you want to build that credibility. But you guys flip it and choose instead to focus on all your customers. This is Gerry Barker and Amy Serrano. They are the CEO and CRO of Barker Specialty Company. And if you want to go to barkerspecialty.com right now, as you're listening to this podcast, you will be absolutely amazed, but you will not find client testimonials. And now you know why. So Amy is the Chief Revenue Officer. I'm making an assumption here that you work primarily with the sales team and the marketing team. Is that right?
Correct.
But in so many companies, there is this silo effect or a real dichotomy between sales and marketing. And production says, we're the people who produce the product. You guys wouldn't have anything to sell without us. And the salespeople are saying, yeah, but we're the ones who sell it. And you guys wouldn't have anything to print or produce without us. How do you keep those silos from forming?
That's very important to us. That's part of the communication and the atmosphere here of driving those relationships. We hold company-wide meetings together so that way that everyone understands why this one's doing this part of the job and the next where it goes in the filter and the life order of the process of that order. So to have everyone understand accounting, I was just actually talking to our accounting manager yesterday, Lorna, and we were talking about how she has the background and understanding of our industry. So when, even by the time that she's not just processing numbers, she gets it. She understands our clientele and what we do as a business and what we're selling. And that also, our salespeople and our employees also drive in business as well, because they're excited and they understand the business, that when they go home and they are talking about the business, they help bring in clientele. So everyone understands what everyone does here, and that's a part of also the onboarding process, is going through to different departments and understanding. So even a salesperson who is probably a top salesperson, if they come on board, they understand what someone's doing in the warehouse and how they have to work through that process and how they work together to make that happen and get the end result to the client.
Oh, that's great. One of the significant things I heard you saying there was there's greater understanding than just my task. So I understand how my tasks are connected to the company task. And so that creates huge belonging within your employees themselves, but it also gives greater appreciation. And that's why they give shout outs to each other, right? Because they
Exactly.
understand
Do
what
constant
someone else.
trainings as well, because everything processes to update. And we want to give the background versus just blasting that out and saying, this is now the way to do it. This is why. And
Mhm.
it's the why behind it and the bigger picture. So we're constantly training and educating our staff to understand the why behind everything.
That Simon Sinek would be proud. He would he'd be delighted to know you're nailing the why. So, Gerry, we're recording this in 2024. Who knows when somebody's listening to it, but you've been around 75 years. That's a lot of momentum. And yet, man, we've seen such cataclysmic change. Nobody likes the change word except for a baby, right? But there's been so much change, which seems even chaotic at times, right? What are some of the challenges you're facing today that mom and dad didn't face?
So I love that question because we always had a company logo of a dachshund. And this was a great logo, and the dachshund evolved over time. But last year, Amy came to me and said, Gerry, I think it's time we change the logo. Now,
Ooh.
to be very frank, if my mom and dad were still alive,
Yeah.
it would have been a very hard conversation. But
Yeah, there's a lot of attachment to that dachshund, right?
a lot of attachment. But Amy went through the process, worked with our art department and our marketing department, and came up with a wonderful logo that we're all so proud of. And that really will, and that is a big change. But you know what? We're here for everybody. And when we have people like Amy Serrano, and Karen, and Chelsea, and Eva, and Heather, and so many that have new ideas, we are open to them. And part of this comes from myself having three wonderful children, Olivia, Harrison, and Max, that teach me and make sure I'm aware of all these different things that are going on in the world. But yeah, change is good. Change is important. We're not wedded to the past, but we learn from the past.
Mm,
Um,
yeah.
we're ready for any new happenings that are going to take place.
Yeah, we've really adapted, and obviously the pandemic had a lot to do with that in many businesses. We have a hybrid work model now, so we have
Wow.
people that are able to come into the office, but if they had to, for some reason, work from home, they can. We have 100% people that are just fully remote and they
Mm,
don't come into the office.
mm.
We have a fully staffed building, so we were able to change that. Where pre-pandemic, we were pretty much, I'd say like 95% everybody was in the office. And now we have the flexibility to allow people for that work-life balance, and it's been working out great. And we actually have people that work in the Philippines as well, so they're never able to come in, but they're very much a part of our team. We talk with them every day. We have the capability, the communications. We text, phone, Zoom, emails. Obviously, it'll keep us constantly connected with them.
Mm. What are some of the challenges that you see going forward for Barker Specialty?
First, hiring really good employees
Mm,
have skills that a lot of people are lacking today: critical thinking skills,
mm,
grammar skills, mathematical skills.
mm.
We actually have our own way of ensuring that people we hire have learned these things. But many young people today, if it's not done on a calculator, have a problem. And yet we were in a business where Scents matter, particularly when you're dealing in thousands and thousands of items.
That's right.
So we actually try to teach people and have some classes and do things to help people, but a qualified workforce is one of the challenges.
Mm.
There's a lot of noise in the world right now. A lot of it's not true. So we try to make sure our customers understand at least what we see as the truth about products, about government regulation. Challenges, one of the biggest challenges is cybersecurity.
Yes.
Making sure that all our employees are trained. We started doing about 8 years ago phishing exercises to try to test our staff. And we found that 70 to 80% failed. We recently did one and everybody passed the test, meaning that nobody was clicked on a false link that we did. So these are big concerns. And as we go, and even globally, there's a lot of issues involving sustainability, involving different laws and regulations involving chemicals, and we stay on top of all these things to the best of our ability.
What do you do to stay on top of those things, Gerry?
It's a complex world, so we have some great people. Right now, Jane Lucard, who's our office manager, she's handling this project to get us certified globally in sustainability, but it's a project and she has to dive deep into it. We just put solar roofing on 2 of our buildings, very large projects. And once again, they're tedious, but we work with good partners. And once again, it's work. And that's why we need smart people, we need good people, and why we have a positive work environment so we could hopefully attract more people like Amy.
Oh, that's wonderful. That is wonderful. BarkerSpecialtyCompany.com is the website that you want to go to if you're walking the dog or on the Peloton right now. It's in the show notes. Just click on there. Amy, what are they going to see when they go to BarkerSpecialtyCompany.com? BarkerSpecialty.com, rather.
They're going to get a taste of what we do. When somebody asks me, what do I do for a living? I say, we put logos on things, and they're going to get a taste of that. They're able to check out the thousands of products that we have on our product page to get to know a little bit about us. We have our company staff who wanted to be on the website. We have everybody up there with some fun facts about everybody, their favorite promo item, and when the year that they started at Barker Specialty Company, because again, it's important. It shows that we know what we're doing and that we're experts in what we do. So they'll definitely get a taste of what we do and who we are.
And how our products solve problems. And that's the biggest thing that we try to share with our customers. Bring us the problems. We will show you a way of solving them through using promotional products. And I have to tell you, it's very effective. And we have a lot of stories, a lot of case histories, and a lot of examples.
Oh, man. If you figured out a way to solve people's problems, Gerry, you'll be around for at least another 75 years, right?
We hope so.
Yeah, that's amazing. Gerry and Amy, Work Positive Nation always wants to know from my guest, what one thing, based on your experience with Barker Specialty Company now, what one thing can Work Positive Nation do starting today to create their own positive work culture like Barker Specialty?
First one is smile. A smile means the world. Answer the phones promptly or get back to people quickly. And third is refer to people by their name. Dr. Joey, a person's name is the most important thing to them.
Yeah, it is, Gerry. Amy, what is your one thing?
I think to piggyback off of Gerry's statement, it's communication. It's, like being able to pick up that phone and respond. It goes a long way, and things don't get lost in translation. So I think that's the first and foremost thing is communication. Wow.
Yeah. We've got to communicate that positivity both internally and externally, right? And using people's names and smiling while we say it, right? It makes a huge difference. You make me want to get on an airplane and come to Connecticut just to meet you guys in person and just to meet some of the employees. They're so amazing at Barker Specialty. You guys are an incredible company. You're a shining light and a North Star for all of us to aspire to as we seek to create positive work cultures in our own companies and communities, even in our homes. So Work Positive Nation, go to barkerspecialty.com right now. Pick out your favorite specialty items, get your company's logo printed on it, or whatever you want to do to solve customer problems and promote your business. And you will obviously be glad that you did. Gerry and Amy, thank you so much for the gift of your time and wisdom today. It's meant the world to me, as I know it has Work Positive Nation.
It's been a pleasure for us, and thank you for giving us this opportunity to share our company's history and story.
Yes, thank you so much. We appreciate the opportunity.
Thank you for listening to this episode of the Work Positive Podcast. Please share this podcast with your friends who are HR and small business leaders so they can do one thing today to create a positive work culture that increases productivity and profits. I'd like to give you a free Work Positive course just for listening. It's called Something to Talk About, and it's transformed the work conversations of so many people all over the world. Get your free copy when you go to workpositive.today/something to talk about, and you can start transforming your conversations today. Remember, it pays to work positive.